Without further ado, I'm going to transfer this over to Jeff, who is our lead developer software engineer. But we like to call him the Jeff of all trades, because not only in his free time does he create beautiful APIs, he also has his MBA from Cal Poly. He is a licensed pilot, so we always tease about having him fly us down here to Bold. And then he volunteers with the marching band at Cal Poly as well. So great guy, very knowledgeable, and excited to keep talking about V6.
Hello, MindBody full of partners. My name is Jeffrey Brown. I'm a senior software engineer at MindBody. And today, I am your host of Extreme Makeover API Edition. All right. Thank you all. I need to take you all out to our morning stand-up meetings and get that energy going. I think that'd be great. So anyway, like I just said, I'm the senior software engineer at MindBody. I am the development lead of Public API, or you might commonly known as the SOAP API. And it's what you'll build your integrations on. And we love it. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to take it and give it an extreme makeover. We're going to transform it. Right? I don't know if you've ever seen the show Extreme Makeover Home Edition or Extreme Makeover, many of the other editions that are out there, but we're kind of going to do it similar to that. So we're going to start off with what we have today, and that is our SOAP API. So our SOAP API has 78 different endpoints. Prize to whoever can name the most? No, that's not a good idea. We'd be here forever, and I want to get you guys to lunch. So 78 endpoints. We've got 7 different services, 2 different versions, 5 and 5.1, and it's, of course, XML and SOAP. And we've got a little sample request up there, and, it's functional. It does what we want, not everything that we want, but it works. But doesn't look that great. So let's see today what we can do to transform it. So we're going to start out with, well, first of all, let's look at our common requests. So we get a lot of requests from y'all. Scott and Jess already touched on gift cards, very exciting, yes, gift cards. And webhooks, of course, awesome. That's a great start. Let's also see what we can do with REST, API keys, and user authentication. So first thing we need to do is introduce a new version of this API. And we're going to call it Public API version 6, and call it Public API, not SOAP. Why do we call it public? Because let's get RESTful. All right, so not XML anymore, but JSON. All right, JSON. Verbs. In SOAP, we post everything. We don't want to do that. We want to be able to post. We want to be able to get and delete. So we're introducing those verbs and response codes. Everything in SOAP is a 200 OK, even if it's an error. 200 OK. We don't want that either. So 200 OK, we'll still use it. But 201 created, 401 unauthorized, and maybe someday, far down the road, we create a new API, a teapot API, and we can return 418 on a teapot. So we got that going for us. Some great response codes, some great verbs. You can see up there a sample RESTful request. It's a get classes call. We're passing in a start date as a query param. So awesome start. We're getting RESTful. What else? API keys. So source credentials. Not our favorite way of authenticating our clients. And why is that? Well, if a source credential, if our source password has to be changed, we reset it in the developer portal, right? But in the meantime, our integrations stop working with our existing source password. And so API keys allow you to create many API keys. Actually, I should say up to 10 right now. Up to 10, that should be plenty. Up to 10 API keys, and you can deploy that change without any interruption to service. It's also a lot more modern way of authenticating, of course. So we're going to do that with an API-key header and site ID header, because as you know, site ID comes through our source credentials. So we're going to take an API key and site ID header. And best of all, this is available to you right now in version 5 and 5.1. So at lunch, I want to see you all all with your laptops out and open and creating those API keys, updating our integrations, and getting started on that. So exciting stuff. All right, let's move on. What else can we do with this API? How about user authentication? So user credentials we send in similar to source credentials, right? We've got our username and password and site IDs. It's not the greatest way, I know, and it's also not the most secure way. So we're introducing a brand new endpoint in v6 called issue user token. So you take your username and password, your staff's username and password, you call this endpoint, and you get back a header, an authorization header, or I should say a bearer token that you use in an authorization header. All right, so we're already getting the site ID header from our API key. And now we've got our authorization header for the staff member. Only thing with this is we're calling a RESTful endpoint, so it's only available in version 6. So it'll give you some incentive to upgrade. You can take advantage of this new thing once you migrate to version 6. What else can we do? Let's see, maybe we can simplify the API a little bit. It's been around for a little while. We got some stuff in there, that maybe isn't the best. And so what can we do to simplify this? Well, first of all, let's talk about this whole add or update. We've got an endpoint, multiple endpoints, add or update clients, add or update appointments, add or update contact log. And we're going to take those endpoints and split them up. We're going to say add client, update client, add appointment, update appointment, and so on. You get the point. Now, I had a meme in here. Legal made me take it out. So work with me, imagine here. We've got a very sophisticated gentleman drinking a Dos Equis beer, and he says, I don't always add or update, but when I do, I call 2 separate endpoints. So anyway, and so let's see, what else can we do simplification-wise? Let's see, we can also take a single level of detail for response types. So we're just going to give you everything back. We're going to do the full response type. We're going to flesh out these objects, not deal with these bare or partial responses anymore. And we're also going to remove the fields parameter. So if you are requesting another parameter, we're either going to start including it by default in the response or create new endpoints that you call. All right, so that should simplify things a little bit. And then we're also going to clean up our pagination. Currently, you pass in a page index or page number and page index. We're going to change that around to limit offset. That way you can tell us how many results you want back, but also where in the result set you want to start. And so that will let you more granularly paginate. All right, so those are some simplification things that we're doing. How about wellness? So I want you to imagine with me the most beautiful API. It's in JSON, we're taking verbs, and we have response codes. It's just the best API you've ever seen. But it takes 20 seconds to respond. No, that's not good. We can't work with that. So we want to do some things under the hood to make it so that our API is reliable and accurate. And so when I think of my vision for our API, I think of our end consumers, the people using our API, whether they know it or not. Most of them probably don't, but through your integrations, they're using this API to book their classes, their wellness appointments, their beauty appointments, what have you. And they book these appointments and classes and enrollments and contracts. They do these for many reasons. Not only do they want to look good, they want to be healthy and well mentally. Right? So we want the same thing out of our API. Not only do we want it to look good, but we want it to be healthy under the hood, reliable and accurate. And we also want our developers and us to stay mentally sane too when working on it, right? So we're going to do some of these things to make sure we have a well API. So one of these things is internal static data caching. And we're doing it in a smart way so that we always give you faster responses but accurate. We're having a pub sub model so that we have a cache. It gets invalidated when that data changes. So we can cache things, return it faster, but make sure you always have the most up-to-date information. All right, we also have some more modern data access methods. We're upgrading our library that we use to hit the database behind the scenes. It should be more reliable, more accurate. Also a new, more maintainable architecture. We're using a layered architecture behind the hood, or under the hood, so that we can more quickly and easily build out API endpoints, and we can fix bugs faster should they appear, and just have a better developer experience from our side. And then better logging and metrics. So we want to know how well this new API is doing, and we also want to be able to find issues. If there's an issue, we want to be able to find out the cause of those issues quickly. So we're going to upgrade logging and metrics. And then last item on here for wellness is spike arrest. So every so often we have a bad actor, not saying that any of you, this has never happened for many of you, I know. We have a bad actor who starts sending us a lot of requests. So many requests that it starts bogging down our system and starts affecting everyone else, right? And we don't want that. We want to make sure that no one person can cause harm to our API and affect everyone else in the process. So we're implementing a spike arrest policy. We're looking at everyone's day-to-day usage and peak usage and setting limits so high that under normal usage limits, you will never hit them. All right, so nothing to be concerned about, but it will help our API be healthy, more reliable, and more accurate. So that's kind of geeky there. I'd like to tell you guys kind of what's going on under the hood. Not only are we making all these advancements that you can clearly see, making our API beautiful, but we're also making it healthy. All right, so last but not least, what else can we improve? And we haven't forgotten the developer portal. So developers.mindbodyonline.com, I'm sure you're very well familiar with it. We've updated the look and feel. So if you haven't seen it lately, go ahead and check it out, developers.mindbodyonline.com, and take a look. We've improved the documentation on there. We're working on increasing the billing transparency. And of course, that's where you go to manage your API keys. So as I said, at lunch, pull out your laptops. I want to see you all creating API keys, checking out our new documentation. It's super exciting. All right, so now we have come to my favorite part of any Extreme Makeover show. All right, now this is where we take a look at what we've got and see what has happened to make it better. We do a before and after comparison. Now, if you've seen Extreme Makeover Home Edition before, you know what happens is they send the family, this nice family, they send them out on a vacation. And you all are our family, and we have sent you to San Diego. This is such a beautiful place. I mean, look at the weather out here. It's just gorgeous, and we hope you all have a great time out here. And while you're out here, we're back at home. Or I'm not, but the rest of the team is. They're back at home, working hard on our API. And in fact, I do have the team here with me, right here. Not many of them are showing their faces. Well, actually, I've got a pod here. Let's get that bigger if I can, or maybe not. Anyway, say hi to them.
Hi.
Hi, team. There they are. They're waving. So you come back from your vacation, and the team is all there, and the cameras are there, and it's just so exciting. But the thing is, there's a bus in the middle of the road that's blocking your view of the house, or of the renovation. And what happens is we chant, move that bus. The bus moves, and we get to see what has been done to the house. And it's just awesome and amazing and so exciting, and I want to recreate that here today. All right, so what we're going to do on the count of 3, so I'm going to have everyone as loud as you can, because I want the enterprise folks downstairs to hear this. Because this is so exciting up here. We're going to count to 3, and we're all going to yell, move that bus, and we're going to see the brand new gig classes endpoint. We've got a couple other things, so we're going to do this like 3 times. All right? Okay, so we've seen the gig classes endpoint. Let's move that bus. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Move that bus! And there is our recipe. Gig classes response. Yes. Woo! All right, once more. Let's see if we've got source credentials. Let's see if we can make it a little louder this time. 1, 2, 3. Move that bus! And there we go. We've got our API key header and product key header. All right. And last time, loudest of all, let them hear us downstairs. 1, 2, 3, move that bus! And our user credentials transformed into an authorization header. Woo! Super exciting. Super exciting. Thank you all. All right, so now I know you're all super pumped on this. You're super hyped. You want to get going on V6, but some of you are probably thinking, how does this affect fill in the blank? We'll have some quick Q&A in just a second here, but I want to address just a couple things. So first of all, versions 5 and 5.1 are SOAP API. That's not going anywhere. You don't need to, in the next week, migrate everything over to REST because this is going away, because it's not. All right, so 5 and 5.1 are sticking around. Source credentials and user credentials, of course, are also sticking around. You can't use them in v6, but you can continue to use them in v5 and 5.1. And of course, your existing source credentials will continue to work. For 6, you will have to create API keys, but they will continue to work. Now, I do have one more surprise for you. And again, we're going to have to use our imagination with the meme because I had to delete it. So imagine, let's see, Oprah. So she's got this show where she gives everyone a free car. And you'll get free, no, I'm just kidding. Can't do that. Can't do that. So imagine Oprah and the big reveal happens and she's like, you get a car and you get a car and everyone here gets a car. Well, think of that, except for you guys today. What we're going to do is, as a special thank you for you being here in San Diego with us, no one else except the people in this room get this, is early access. Everyone here gets early access to version 6. You get early access, and you get early access, and you get early access. Everyone gets early access, all right? So what we're going to do, thank you for that. What we're going to do is take the list of attendees from the room here, and in the next week, we'll be activating early access on your account. And what that means is we'll send you an email and a link to our documentation, the brand new v6 documentation, which we're still working on, and you'll get to try it out. So now there are some things that I should note here. Now, what this means is, so first of all, we're not completely done restifying all the endpoints. So this is our Scrum board. I took this picture just last week, where we currently are at with restifying. You can see most of it is done. We've still got a couple in progress and a few planned, but we're getting there. So not every single endpoint will be available, and this is the big disclaimer here, is that this can and may change. So do not use these endpoints in production. Do not use these endpoints in production, all right? Because, like I said, they can and may change. We don't want to break your integrations because you migrated early and things are changing. So please go in, take a look. We're going to send you a link also and ask you for some feedback on it. Try it out, hit endpoints with Postman, and we really want to know how this works for you, all right? Got it? No using in production? Try it out, let us know. Cool. Okay, so expect an email from us by the end of Bold or in the next week or so with that information. So at this time, I am going to thank you very much. This is the end of Extreme Makeover API Edition. Just show card, thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to invite Scott and Jess back up here to join me, and I know you probably have plenty of questions, and we want to get those answered. So come on up, Scott and Jess.